Hi, and welcome to the Iowa Library for the Blind and for Disabled Summer Reading Program. I have to say, this summer we have one update. So it's called Unearth a Story, Unleash Your Inner Explorer 2026. So with that comes a lot of stories being told. We are after a dinosaur named Digby, and that is part of this theme of this summer. But we love to include also different activities that have accessibility as part of the learning process. And you'll find what is nice about our materials that we use. They're very simple. They're usually materials that we already have at home, and we can easily cut it and make it really something usable for you to share with your children or classmate or school for that matter. So thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get started. For this program today, we're going to talk about going out and becoming an actual person that finds fossils and uses tools to find them. So we want them to become part of the experience, but we do it the Accessibility Summer Reading Program style. With that, I'm going to introduce you to Kate. Kate is going to take over, and she's going to walk you through to include what you need to have for the program. So welcome and enjoy.
Yes, hello. Like Denise said, my name is Kate, and today we're talking about finding our own fossils like paleontologists do. So for our supplies, we have a sheet of tinfoil, a Q-tip, and two shapes made out of paper that is corrugated. So one side is totally flat, and the other side has ridges on it. To add to the accessibility aspect, having the texture on the paper. One makes it easier to make a rubbing on through the aluminum foil, but is also a good way to differentiate the shapes from each other and to really have an extra tactile experience when doing this craft.
And I'm just going to quickly interrupt you just for a minute, because I want to point out that we were kind of, it was referencing to use like sandpaper. But we felt that sandpaper would be too rigid. So I want you to always be open to the idea of substitution for any of your papers. There are so many different paper styles out there with different texture, and this is one of our favorites.
Totally, absolutely. And then one shape of the corrugated paper is a dinosaur footprint, and the other one is a triceratops. This one was cut out using a stencil that we 3D printed, but you could use any shape, freehand it or trace it from a different piece of paper, whatever works for you. And then we have 3 dried beans to use as seeds of prehistoric plants that we have found that we also want to make rubbings of. But again, this is super easy to use all sorts of materials and objects to make rubbings of for the fossils that you have around the house, or you can go on your own fossil hunt outside and find all sorts of fun things.
And those are actually prehistoric seeds you found?
Yes.
Wow.
Prehistoric seeds on our very own.
This is where you have to have that imagination. I love that, Kate.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So to make our rubbings, I'm going to lift up our tinfoil page. You can have either side be used for the rubbings. I'm going to have the more dull side facing down on top of the objects. So I'm going to move these a little farther down. This guy wants to bend up, but we'll cover him soon. I'm going to move them into whatever position I would like them to be. You can have them form designs on your rubbing. You can have them spaced out individually like this, or do one at a time, whatever works best for you. And then I'm going to put the aluminum foil on top and press it down so everything is nice and stable under there, so it's not shifting around.
I like the sound of the aluminum foil.
Yes, it is. You'll always know that it's aluminum foil, not anything else.
It kind of sounds like a little rainstorm.
It does, yes. And then I'm going to take my excavator rubbing tool, the Q-tip, and start going over the tinfoil until I find our fossils underneath. So here I found the dinosaur footprint on the paper. So I'm just using the Q-tip to rub around the outside edges in between all of the ridges.
Oh,
You
wow.
can kind of see it come into focus there on the
Yeah.
paper. You see its 3 toes.
And it's good to talk about how much pressure you use and also throw out those little, like, if you were a paleontologist, what would you like to go find and what would you seek to find? And how do you think you go out? I love questions. A lot
Yeah.
of questions. Get them thinking while they spend time rubbing on it. But this is what they do. It's a great comparison.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a good time to talk about how fossils are made. So when we were in our program, we talked about how these animal bones and old plants and things that have died and
Oh,
are
I see
decomposing, they stay under the ground for millions of years, and all the rock pressure of the lands that gets that grows and forms on top of the fossils, they put pressure on the bones and on the plants and things like that, and they turn into fossils over time, and they press into the rock just like this.
You're so smart, Kate. You learn a lot, but I think this part too is having that experience of exploring, because they like to explore, but also the educational part of it. Never skip
Totally.
on the educational part.
Totally.
That's great. Look at that.
So yeah, so there are seeds are down here.
Sounds like
Sometimes it's nice to go in with your fingers to really be able to feel, since they stick out a bit more than the corrugated paper does. You can kind of go in and squish the film around it and kind of make little, I like to call them little firecrackers, because all the
They are. They look like
fractals of light
firecrackers.
coming off of the tinfoil is pretty cool.
I do want to say I've noticed too with the paper, with the aluminum foil, there are different types of aluminum foil that would preserve the rubbing a little bit more so than some aluminum foils are mixed a bit with other materials so they don't hold that shape as well. But there are more expensive aluminum foils that you can use. But wow, that
So there
is
we
so
have it.
special.
Let's see our footprint down there. I can see a little bit of our
I can
dinosaur shape
see
up
that.
here.
I can see
Yeah.
why you like that seed.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a fun way to play pretend and be a paleontologist for an afternoon.
So did you have fun working on that, Kate?
Yeah, it is
that
fun.
was
It's very satisfying.
It's very hypnotizing. So thank you so much, Kate. Kate does such a great job of explaining all the detail that goes into creating. We look forward to more of these coming out your direction. They can be found on the iowalibrary.blog. To watch additional versions throughout the summer of this program, you can jump right in and go to the iowalibrary.blog youth programs. Be located under the Unearth a Story, and there's actually 26 summer reading program videos, and watch them there.